Hey, welcome everybody to Quick Brick Games, where we cover everything LEGO gaming, and this is going to be the Every Character series here on the channel, where we go through every single LEGO game in release order and show off all the characters so we can kind of see how the character rosters change throughout each game. Now we're on 2012's LEGO Batman 2 DC Superheroes. This was a big LEGO game at the time. This was the first LEGO game with voice acting. This was the first LEGO game with a huge open world. This was the first LEGO game with DLC, I believe. So yeah, this was just a massive game. This was almost like Skywalker Saga, but back in 2012, like in terms of how big of a change it's going to be. So yeah, let's go ahead and pull up the character roster here. You just have to hold down the character button, which is Y on the Xbox, which is what I'm playing on, triangle on PlayStation, etc. So the character roster is actually smaller in this game compared to other games. So in the base game, I believe it's 50 characters, but then if you buy the DLC, which we're always going to be covering the DLC in these videos, it adds an extra 10 characters. So you'll have 60 characters total, and then there's these, like, it's kind of weird how they laid it out here, like the custom characters are like on the left and right sides. I think this is the only LEGO game that does that, but yeah, kind of interesting. So here we have Batman first off. So this is Batman. He's kind of all blacked out in this game, like he's really, there's no gray on his costume. I think they go back to the gray look in the other games. So he's got Batarang. Yeah, he can jump. He kind of does a cool dive. It's kind of cool. And yeah, so then number 2, we have Robin. We can switch over to him. He's very red in this game, very red design. I like his like walking animation. It's kind of funny, the way he like kind of like hunches over a little bit. Very cool. All the animations in this game are like really good. Again, this game was such a step up from the previous LEGO games before it. So here is Superman, who's a very important character. This is the character I probably play as the most in these games, because if you look at his hearts, he's invincible. He's got silver hearts there, so he can't take any damage. When you fly around, it plays the Superman theme, which I'm probably not allowed to play on this game because YouTube will copyright strike me. But yeah, he's got the freeze breath. He's got the laser vision. He's got it all. So very cool character. He's got this cool like slam ability, which just takes out everything. It's really good for like destroying stuff to collect studs. Here we have Green Lantern, who can fly around. He can use his lantern powers and things like that. I'm not going to show every ability of every hero. But yeah, so that's kind of one thing I do want to mention is that although there's less characters in this game, each character, there's a lot more to each character. Like they each have their own powers and abilities to really match what they are like in the comic book and the movies and stuff, which is really nice. Here we have Cyborg, who recently appeared in Zack Snyder's Justice League. So he's got a bunch of different abilities. A lot of the Justice League just kind of appears at the end of the game. So although this is a Lego Batman game for sure, like it does bring in the whole Justice League towards like the later half of the game. Here we have the Flash, who is pretty fast. We're not out in the open city, so he doesn't run at his full speed. But yeah, he's a pretty cool character. Here you have Wonder Woman, who can fly in this game. And so yeah, she's a pretty cool character. She's got her, what is that she throws? I'm not even sure what you call that. But she's got all of her abilities. She's got her little lasso there, so lots of cool stuff there. Here we have Martian Manhunter, who also had an appearance in Zack Snyder's Justice League, if you haven't seen it. I guess I kind of spoiled it there, but, you know, it's been out for a while now, so that's Martian Manhunter there. And he does not transform in this game. In future games, he actually transforms. Here we have Aquaman, who can actually spray water out of his scepter, which is really cool. Look at that, just a nice stream of water that can be used to, like, put out fires and stuff, but that's pretty much all there is to him. Here we have Hawkman, who's very cool. He's got that little stick. I'm not sure what you call that thing, but I don't usually play as him too much. Then we have, what is that, Hot Girl, who's very similar, just the female version, basically. You have Huntress, who has like what is that, crossbow. I'm actually not too familiar with her character. I don't think she has really any unique abilities besides the crossbow. Here we have Batgirl. I think Batgirl, I could be wrong, but I think she can use all of the suit swaps that Batman uses. I could be wrong about that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she can like use all of Batman's different suits. Here we have Supergirl. I remember she's one of the harder characters to unlock in this game. And again, she's invincible like Superman. She's got all the same abilities, laser vision, freeze breath, all that good stuff. We have Black Canary, I guess is how you pronounce that. And she's a loud screaming character, so she can break glass. Very useful. Here we have Lex Luthor. He's got his big gun. Who can't he pull apart black Lego objects? I believe. So he's kind of a unique ability. He may be the only character with that ability. We have the Joker, who's in this game, and he is not voiced by Mark Hamill in this game, but he is in later Lego games. But yeah, he looks pretty cool. He's got a cool animation. Whoa, I did not mean to pull up the map there. Back out of that. And yeah, so he's got his gun. He can see what else does he got. I think he can like shake hands with people and shock them. Maybe that's in a future Lego game. It's hard to keep track of like their different abilities that they added in the later Lego games and stuff like that. Here we have Harley Quinn, who's a high jumping character. She's an acrobatic character, so she can do all the same stuff that Robin can do in his acrobat suit. And we have the Riddler, who appeared in Lego Batman 1, of course. And he's got a nice, cool looking hat. Here's Two-Face, who is like really like one side is purple, one side is like orange, which is kind of a unique design. I guess that's from like the cartoon. But yeah, he doesn't really look like that in the movies, I don't think. Here we have the Penguin, who of course has his explosive little penguin traps that he can throw down, just like the first game. He can glide with his umbrella, which is kind of unique because Batman needs his gliding suit to do that, whereas Penguin does not. Here we have Poison Ivy, who can interact with plants. She's got like basically a whip. It's like the same animation as like Indiana Jones's whip almost, except it's just like a plant. And she's also a high jumping character. So there we go. Here we have Catwoman, who's also a high jumping character, acrobatic character, all that. She actually does have a classic whip. She was in the first game for sure. Here we have Bane, who's also in the first game. He can pull, do they have orange handles in this game? I think they do. He's a strong character. You can actually see like the venom like kind of textured onto his back there, which is kind of unique. He can kind of do a cool dive. There we go, that's Bane. I like his standing animation, how he looks really tough. Here we have Killer Croc, who can, I believe he can like go underwater. So he's a pretty cool character. He's got some abilities you might want to use when you're doing free play. Here's Mr. Freeze, who can of course freeze things, which is helpful. He can put out fires with that as well. I always thought he was a cool design because he's got like the glass helmet over his face. Of course it's just plastic in real life, but it's supposed to look like glass. Here we have Scarecrow, who has his classic design. And he looks pretty much just like he did in the first game for the most part, I believe. We have Captain Boomerang, who's actually going to appear, what is it, the new Suicide Squad movie that's coming out? I believe Captain Boomerang is going to be in there. So he's always got the kind of beanie helmet. Here we have Sinestro, who basically has all the same abilities as Green Lantern, except he's yellow. Here we have Mad Hatter, who appeared in the first game, I believe. So he's got, look at that animation, that walking. Look at that. I think that's custom, like just for him. I don't think any other character uses that animation. So that's kind of cool. Here we have Killer Moth, who can fly around. Of course, look at him flying around like an idiot. He's got, man, TV Games does a good job with their animations. I can't wait to see what kind of stuff they have for Skywalker Saga. That looks great. Okay, so let's move on to Man-Bat, who was in the first game as well, if I remember right. He's got a cool animation with his wings flapping like that. And so yeah, he basically can fly. I think he can do his scream as well, right? All right. Yep, he does that. Cool. So he's kind of like Black Canary. Let's see, Clayface. He can. What can he do? He's a strong character. I know that. I think he just might be a strong character in this game. Here we have Hush, who is actually a fairly new character. I remember he was in Lego Batman 1, I believe as well. And he's kind of like a more recent character in the DC Comics, so it's cool that they included him. We have Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul, however you say it. It's called Ra's like in the video games, and I think in the cartoon, but they say Ra's in the Batman Dark Knight trilogy, so there we go. He's pretty cool. I don't think he actually shows up in the story mode or anything. We have General Zod. There we go. This game actually came out before Man of Steel, the movie, came out, which is kind of interesting. So his hairstyle and stuff actually looks similar to what they did with the movie. So here's Brainiac, who is kind of going to be the big villain in Lego Batman 3, if you haven't played that game. He is teased at the very end of this game, and it's cool that they didn't really have to make him playable, considering he was just teased, but it is cool that they included him. He's got a kind of funny dive animation where he just kind of falls on his face. Here we have Bruce Wayne, aka Batman. He doesn't really have any other abilities. I wish you could like play as him, then hold the Y button, or triangle button, depending on what console you're playing on, and kind of switch between Batman and Bruce Wayne, but you cannot do that. Here we go. Here is Dick Grayson, who is the Robin in this game. So you can kind of see they even have the same pose. Wow, you're giving it away, Robin. You're giving away who you are. Here we have Clark Kent, who is actually kind of cool because even though he's Clark Kent, you can still use his freeze breath, and you can still use his heat vision. I think he even pulls down. Yeah, he pulls down his glasses. It's hard to see it, but you can barely see it there. His glasses on his face are pulled down. That's actually a really cool detail. You can't fly as Clark Kent, but other than that, yeah, he's pretty cool. Here is Alfred, who carries around his little plate here, which is kind of cool. Other than that, he can't do too much. Here we have Commissioner Gordon. Very cool. And here we have Lois Lane. I was about to make another point, but I think I'll make it at the end of the video. Here we have Lois Lane, who I don't think really appears in the story mode, but she's just kind of like an unlockable character, which is kind of cool. Same thing with Vicky Vale here. So there we go. Vicky Vale almost looks like Lois Lane in the Zack Snyderverse Batman movies and Superman movies, you know? Because she's played by Amy Adams, who has that kind of same color hair, orange-red hair there. So that's kind of cool. Here we have Policeman. Just a generic policeman. Actually, he looks pretty cool. Like, he's got a cool, unique animation. They actually put in some work to these kind of more generic characters. Clown, Goon. There we go. Here we have Mime Goon. So we're getting to all the different types of goons in the game. The more generic, non-superhero characters here. And non-super villains. You have Riddler Goon there. Is that what he's called? Yeah, Riddler Goon. Two-Face Goon. We've got the nice beanie hat. We have Lexbot. Who's, of course, Lex Luthor's goons. He doesn't just have goons, he's got robots. And that is all the main characters in the game. Now we're moving on to the DLC characters, which we have Robin Damian Wayne version, who is Batman's son. He's like the newest version of Robin. He's got the yellow cape, he's got kind of the green boots, just kind of a different color scheme. I believe he can do all the same stuff as regular Robin. Here we have Nightwing, which is kind of surprising he wasn't included in the main game. I guess they wanted to save him for DLC. They had to sell that DLC. Put a good character in there. Here we have Shazam, who actually got a movie somewhat recently, a couple years ago. There we go. So he's got some cool abilities. Look at that. He can shoot the lightning from his chest. Very cool. Here we have Katana. I don't know too much about her. I think she's a villain, right? But she's got her sword. Kind of a cool character there. Here we have Zatanna, or Zan. Yeah, I guess Zatanna, I guess is how you say it. I think, isn't DC planning a movie with her? I think they are. I think she might be sort of like a villain. Here we have Bizarro, who is like the zombie version of Superman. What's that say on his chest? I think it just says Bizarro. He's got like a little name tag type of thing on his like a necklace over it. But he basically has all the same abilities as Superman: laser vision, you know, freeze breath, flying. He can has invincibility. So very cool. Black Adam, who's going to be getting a movie. He's got all the same abilities as Shazam. He's going to be getting a movie played by The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So that's pretty cool that they included him in here. We have Captain Cold, who actually has the same abilities as Mr. Freeze, but has a pretty big role in LEGO DC Supervillains from 2018. So they gave him voice acting, and he's got a lot more abilities and stuff in that game. Here we have Gorilla Grodd, who looks completely different in this game compared to what he looks like in later LEGO games. But yeah, he's just a DLC character in this game. He gets, again, a more major role, similar to Captain Cold. Same thing with Black Manta as well, from the Aquaman movie. He showed up in Aquaman. And with that, he's actually got a cool LEGO like head piece there. It's very unique for his model. But with that is going to be all 60, I believe, characters in LEGO Batman 2 DC Superheroes. So very cool. Again, what I was going to say earlier is I think this is one of the best character rosters in a LEGO game because there's not really any useless characters. I guess people like to have more of those characters because it gives you a bigger number. You can say, hey, look, this LEGO game has 200 characters or whatever. But a lot of them, like, you're never going to play as. They're kind of useless, similar, you know, sort of like the Clown Goon, Mime Goon, like who places them. But yeah, all these characters, like most of them, like I'd say a good like 90% of these characters are all like superheroes or supervillains that you want to play as, that they have unique abilities and all that. So yeah, they really did a good job on this character roster, so shout out to TT Games for that. This was an excellent LEGO game. This could be even the best LEGO DC game, in my opinion. It's definitely up there. So if you haven't played it, go back and play this. It's backwards compatible on the Xbox, so if you have an Xbox One or Series X, Series S, you can play this. But that's going to do it for this video in the Every Character series. So next up, we're going to be moving on to 2012's LEGO Lord of the Rings, which is going to be a fun game. And so be sure to check that out. Subscribe to be notified right when that comes out. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Dislike it if not. Comment what you think of this character roster and this game in general. And I'll see you guys next time here on Quick Break Games.